Hello. I will be presenting the LOR, the first negative rebuttal, for the argument that the United States federal government should implement online voting by the year 2024. The opposition is definitely winning this argument because we have defeated every single harm presented by the affirmative. And just a little sidebar, we only have to defeat one of their specifics to win this argument. So starting with their harms, the reality of online voting creates more problems than anything, creating more terrorist threats, creating more budget deficits, financial impact on Americans when their more tax dollars are funneled into trying to implement a online voting process that would actually lead our country into being very vulnerable and susceptible for foreign entities to come in and create chaos. If we take a look at how this would be if the affirmative went through with their plan, well, first, government agencies such as the FEC would collapse on themselves. This is an underfunded, underdeveloped, underemployed agency that is stressed to the max. 3 out of 6 of their board members don't exist. They're vacant positions. When we look at the amount of responsibilities that the FEC already has, making sure campaign funds and are on the up and up, are legal, and doing it within a limited financial budget, then it is detrimental to what will happen next. So if they have to if the FEC has to skimp on how to staff their agency, then that will lead to holes in the process of vetting companies that would be eligible to build a security system for online voting. And if there's holes in the security system, then we have a floodgate for fraud from both domestic and foreign entities. When we think about our enemies, are terrorists or countries that would gladly see America and Americans' way of life being demolished, then we have to ask ourselves, is this worth it? Is it worth creating more arguments and more opportunities for war when our military and our military families are so impacted by this? We have sent so many of our soldiers overseas and they come back broken, which leads to broken families. And, when you look at the idea of, or when you look at if voting online was put in place and all these things happen and it leads to, war because we're trying to defend our American way of life, then we have to also take into account that these soldiers and their families will be affected. As the daughter of a U.S. military member, I lived in terror from the time I was 3 years old and very aware that my dad was headed overseas to the time he retired. The idea that there's somebody out there that cannot stand Americans so much that they don't care who they hurt, as long as they're American, should put fear in every American's heart. And that is why we should definitely not approve and implement any type of online voting process. I will end it there.